Hold on. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I just did all my studies like I always do every morning, and so I'm going to be challenging myself to do my writing, do my reading like I've been doing, and then also post at least one video a day about one of the topics that I've been writing. So, on the day, I was talking about God is love, which He is. He really is. And I was talking about how God really, He works in mysterious ways. He really does. And how I discovered how God's inside of you, everything that He put was inside of you. It just brings me back to when I was going to church and one of the evangelists, she came over and prayed. Well, actually, she didn't even pray over me. She just pulled me on the side and told me, God said, whatever you're doing, stop, because it's hurting Him. And so that was when I was like probably about around 18 or 19. And I didn't know what the lady was talking about, but I did know. And I was hurting my body, from all the sexual things that I was doing with these men and allowing them to just use me because I thought that was love, and it wasn't. They were taking advantage of my body, and I was allowing them to. And I think back where I was just letting them do whatever they wanted to do to me, but I wasn't respecting myself. I wasn't respecting my body. And so when God was telling the lady, she was relaying a good message for me because at the time I was definitely outgoing. I was out there. And I'm glad that the lady kind of planted that because during the time I was helping out my family and stuff. And so when I was stressed, I would go straight to sex. I would just go because I was stressed out. And the lady, she was so powerful when she said that to me because it was true. I was stressed out. I felt like I was just picked on a little bit too much from my family to where I couldn't breathe. I didn't feel protected. The only person that I felt really protected by was my father because he really cared about me, and my dad didn't see just the girl that had the babies and had the sex problem and all that stuff. My dad saw me, and he had that strong faith in me, and he still do because I keep seeing them in my dreams. And so as I got older in life, it was kind of hard for me to kind of move on because when I discovered God was love, it wasn't until I knew He was always love, but His real true love, once I moved out on my own, really honestly, I discovered that I didn't really need my family. I just wanted them, but they didn't want nothing to do with me. Their focus was just making sure that my mom was okay. And it hurt me in so many ways because God sees us all as one. He created us wonderfully made. And what was really bothering me is that even though God seen us as one, they were just taking a certain situation and focusing more and more on that certain situation, and they were leaving me behind, and so I felt like I was betrayed because it's like, wait a minute. So I'm sitting here taking care of one person. I'm a single mother of two. You guys are keep on attacking me in levels where I can't even breathe because you guys are so stuck on me, having the baby instead of being family and coming up with some type of solution on how to help me. You guys kept on talking, and so two of the family members did help. Um, they did, and it was my uncle and my auntie. They really was helping me tremendously in my finances and with their wordings. They were definitely trying to lift me up and get me away from. They actually didn't know what was going on, but they were definitely getting me away from the negativity because I was going through a lot of negativity stuff to where I even myself became negative. It was definitely affecting me in levels where I never stopped believing. I knew that there was God. There was God. But I was angry with him. I was like, man. And I was angry with myself too. I was angry with myself because I ended up having those babies at a very young age. And, I felt so overwhelmed with my grandmother. She kept on throwing the urge of the fact that I had it. And, it was to the point where I was like, okay, what am I going to do? If I'm going to allow my family members to be the reason why I'm failing, or am I going to take care of my responsibility and move forward? So it took me a long time to make that decision, really, honestly, because I was already taking care of my responsibilities here. I made sure that I had any type of resource that I can get, some income source. I was making it happen. I was taking really good care of my kids, but my immediate family insisted on, kept on, just very negative. And even when I moved here, they were so negative. And I didn't even like it either no more. I just was like, I hated that I lived on my own and I wasn't appreciating the things that God was doing. First of all, God was trying to protect me. He was trying to protect me. And when my daddy died, I'm just really blessed because the fact is, I think about it. They would have been arguing about where I was going to live. So I had to live on my own. And I moved just in time before he passed. I had just moved in 2016. And in 2016, he died. So it was like God was giving us that grace already. It was like, okay, my dad passed away, but I had my own place. So the only thing that I was having issues with was childcare issues. And God protected me on that. I mean, he sent the girl over, and then all of a sudden I found out I got me an apartment, and I was just so blessed. And at the end of the day, I still am, but it was really saddening, to see people was just really mean, and I thank God, though, during that time that my family just was just not nice. It took me a while. It took me a while. I started to see it. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So I'm up here, and I wanted them to really see me, that I changed, And God don't want us to be doing that. And I really want to just encourage people. I take this stuff serious because it happened to me. And so for me, I knew that God was real because the fact is I was changing and I was looking more and more at the fact that they would, oh Lord, they would not look at that. They kept on making comments after comments. I mean, I had got my own place. I had worked 2 jobs, and they still was talking. It didn't matter. And then that's when I discovered they just had something against me. And I was like, what am I going to do with them having something against me? We're supposed to be family. Why would a family member do this? It was in their duty just to focus on one particular person, and that was my mom. They felt like, she lost her husband and all those things, and so that's why they just took her. My mom continuously decided to gossip about the kids, and she wasn't letting people know that she was getting paid for it. It was a lot of stuff going on to where I was betrayed. And so as I was doing my writing, I would write every day because I was just trying to figure out what I personally did so wrong in this situation. Till this day, the studies has gotten strong. I wrote about 10 journals about the same situation, and it's like people want you to move on. You really can. I'm doing it now. But it takes time, guys. Just remember that. On your time, when you finally let go and release, and it's kind of unexpected for me because how I work here is I am straight on my schedule. And if you knock that off, I want answers on why you did that. And I always been that way. You knock out my schedule, you didn't tell me something that I need to know. Or I'm looking at you're focusing on one person and we're family and we were in this together and you exclude me out, but then you want me to spend on this person and then you say my income does not mean anything and it does, and you're telling me to save all my stuff for this one person when I got children. That's not fair. But a lot of people be so into them where I just discovered that they're living in guilt. I'm crying because I just really miss everybody. And I was only guilt because, I personally got myself into getting pregnant at a very young age. But then I started to realize that that was my issue. And if it affected them that badly, why did they continue to talk one another instead of talking to the person who made the baby? And they wouldn't talk to me. And so that's how I knew it. It didn't matter. They just was attacking me, and I always looked at me. I'm like, okay, what did I do? Oh, yeah, I had the baby. I had the baby. I had the baby. I am so wrong. So I didn't throw myself up in the trash can because of the baby situation. But I started to realize that's not what God is. God sees change. God is love. And He loves you no matter what. At the bad time, at the good time, God is love. And so, for me, I lived my life just beating up on myself. I just did not know what to do. And so I would smack myself around badly because I was trying to figure out what did I do so wrong. But God sent His angels. He was so scared for me because that's why I had suicidal thoughts, to be honest. My own family made me feel like I didn't even exist. And my dad wasn't like that. He clapped for me because he knew that I was doing the best that I can. He knew that I was a hard worker. He knew I had my kids, and he knew. And it was like, I don't feel like I needed to put my kids in no daycare center when you got family members that ain't doing nothing and they can help you. Yes, I'm a single mother, and I wasn't expecting to be, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You guys should have been able to help me. I think a lot of people don't realize when you help someone, you can it can go farther. You don't realize how much things would happen it would have been for you if you help someone while they're struggling. They knew that I didn't have transportation, and they would clown me about being on that bus. After a while, I just started saying, mercy on my soul. And I kept on praying to God that He send me angels. I kept on saying, God, please deliver me. God, what did I do so wrong for to be treated this way? And He began to send me angels right where in my neighborhood. He sent them yesterday. The guy come in randomly and gave me 2 boxes of free pizza and 3 free shirts. And he was so nice and he gave me a hug. And he doesn't realize how much I actually needed that because I've been in isolation mode for so long to where I didn't want to deal with nobody. I wanted to really see what I can do on my own. I literally isolated myself in levels where I studied about it, and I wanted to be on my boat, and I was on it now. And I started just plotting out my life to where people thought I already had everything together, but I did not. I just plotted it. I just really was studying in levels where I wanted to be better. I did not want to sit there and allow people to be the reason why I couldn't make it. I loved them so much, but I loved my children more. And I know that even though I spent majority of my time on them and less time on my children, which is bad because they lived their life. And I had to really realize that as I grew, that they lived their life. And it's not my fault whether they spent it or not. I got to keep going forward and spend the little life that I have because my life is not actually little, it's huge. And so I have to actually live that life and make sure that I go farther in my life and not be stuck on the same situation because it's not my fault. It's actually the behaviors. It's not even theirs. It's not even them. It's the behavior in the situation and how people responded after my daddy died. After my dad's death, I was fighting for answers. And I ain't gonna lie, I wanted answers. I wanted more answers about, wait a minute, hold on. I know what I seen in this house. And ain't nobody know what's going on in that house like I do. I know what I seen. And so after a while, you begin to question the person who raised you. You're like, wait a minute, you acting like this while he dead, but when he was alive, you were not doing this. So what is you doing this for? And it started becoming so annoying to where I had to really deliver my mouth. I had to really deliver it. I had to go to God and tell him, and I had to really leave. I had to really just take some time for myself and know what I want because I spend majority of my time chasing someone that don't deserve to be chased. It's like, you know what? Yes, I did wrong, but I'm not going to pay my sins to you anymore. I'm not going to do that. You are my mother. And at the end of the day, if you can't tell these false allegations that you told them over the years about me, but yet you take my money, you take things that don't really belong to you, but I gave it to you because you saw how I was, you wrong. Because you're not just taking from me. You're taking from your granddaughters. But it's only what I had allowed, but it's nothing like, this generation curse where you're looking at the people who are over you. But then I had to really understand that even though they're over me, there's a higher God over all of them. And so I began to start going to God because I knew that God really, he had me when other people didn't, and I think I didn't know what was worse when my circle was changing, but it was only for good. I was mad at God at first about the new changes, but he did it out of his love. He knew that I was stressed out. He knew that I was worried. He knew that they were making it not go right. And he knew that, first of all, he was telling me take care of his children. Because at the end of the day, you have kids. And you have them to raise. And your children should be the reason why you train them on what not to do. Single mothers, and not just single mothers, but people who deal with certain situations to where they can't move on because they've been so brainwashed. I call it brainwashed by people who judged them or talked about them about a certain situation that they did over the years, and these people feel like they can't make it, so they don't go to church. They don't go to different positive things because they think that they don't have no life. They think that they can't make it because the people who was over them, who raised them, made them feel like they are nothing and could not help them or couldn't do anything for them, or when they helped them, they had to do things in order for them to help them. And so that's why for me, I wanted to try my best to help somebody because I wanted them to know that God is love. I mean, he had me at a low when I had my kids going house to house. I was so scared, and it's like I'm thankful that we didn't go apartment to apartment together because of this. God was with me on my own place, and only thing I had to do is just make sure I find somebody to watch the kids. And it wasn't easy because you can't just put any and everybody around your children. But I'm thankful that I got a chance to go to work and go home. I mean, God was with me. God has been with me with these children. And I continued my life talking to different people. And I'm very long-winded, but it's because I couldn't talk back then. It was like, again, a lot of people, well, family members just saw me have that baby. And that was it. And that's all I was known as. But my daddy didn't see just them kids. He seen all of us. And he loved me and he loved those children. And then I got around the outside world and I met my TC Alicia. She loved me and my children. I began to realize that not everybody is like that. But we gain what we lost is what we gain, and I tried my best to really not really come revealable, but then I knew I had to because I could be telling a story that could help somebody else, and it's so funny because you call yourself, wanting to be on God's team. But if you hear your family, when you hear a friend talking about something they dealt with and you don't help them in any type of way, that's wrong. Because I just genuinely care about people. And I think that's why over the years, it's not that I failed. It's just that I was doing a little bit too much that I didn't allow God to work through these people. And some people, you got to let them go so that they can see themselves. And eventually, as they fix them or they don't fix them, they will come back. Because God is an amazing person to where if people keep on wronging you and doing you wrong and you know that you've been nothing but faithful to them, oh no. He's going to tell you to leave. He's going to tell you to leave. And that's what happened to me in this family story I'm telling you. Definitely, God is love. because I wouldn't move away from them. I said, okay, they want to fake it till they make it. I'm going to fake it till I make it with them. This is my family. But God was tapping me on my shoulder and said, no, your two children are your family right now. This is what you created. You got to take care of my children. And it took me a while. I was in a battle between either my immediate family or the family that I created. I didn't want to do that. But I had to. Because when immediate family drop you like that with no explanation and then always saying it's all your fault, you around the wrong team. Because if a person cannot really communicate with you, and then when they do, you take it and leave and move on. Because at the end of the day, I do feel strongly about, now people want to be proud of you. But if it has to take me all of this for you to be proud of me, I don't need you in my life. Because my dad did not even do that to me. He was an amazing man. He did not do that. I didn't have to do all of that. And God is an amazing man. Because I'm here to tell people, you ain't got to be this perfect person to be God's child. You speak to God before you speak to anyone else, because you got to realize that God loves you. He loves you. From the head to the toe, he loves you. And I knew that he loved me when he went to that lady and tell her that she's hurting me and tell her to please stop. He told people were coming to me about God's words many of times. One lady was telling me, God said, don't look back. Please don't go back to what hurt you. Don't go back. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, he's just talking about, but he was really talking about my family. He was really telling me, I understand that you love them. I created them. But they're not being very nice to you right now. And I need you to not look back at them and keep going. Because they can't be in here. They are going to really be the reason why you're failing and possibly, honestly, lose your kids. It was so dangerous. But God saved me. He did. And all I could think about is talking about him so much. Because even though they might be angry about the chapters that I'm revealing, these stories that I'm telling you guys, but honestly, I have to do this, not for me, but I've seen people's lives at risk. And every time I tell them the story of how I got to where I'm at, oh, these people really love the stories. And I'd rather tell them the truth than a lie. And it is the truth. The truth is that sometimes we want love when it's free. Okay? Stop trying to make people love you. I was the same way. I was trying to make my family love me. It was like I was running after my mom, but my mom was running after her mom. And so it was a curse where I was running after my mom, but oops, my children were running after me, and they are toddlers. So they wanted me, and I'm sitting here worried about my mom. And I couldn't do that no more. I had to really just let go and let God and pray that she gets better. But I can't keep my attention and fully divided on her when I do have babies to raise. I can't go without why she have a full dinner meal. I can't do that. I catch buses miles and miles away. I did so many things with my child. We would go to counseling and we would go catch it far out. A lot of people told me they would teach me how to drive, but they didn't. One particular person did, but then she ended up stopping. After a while, a lot of things that people promised me, they broke. They tried to just put it all on me like I was just this monster. And one day I did a lot of studies in my life and I started talking to God and saying, am I really this bad? Because I started seeing, even when I got into relationships, it was the same. And I started saying, I know sometimes I could be, I don't know. I was really trying to figure it because I know me. If I did something wrong, I'm going to tell you. But the problem is that I looked back and I turned into a pit of salt for a minute because I kept looking at why did they not just tell me that they didn't want me to be a part, and why they were attacking me and they not knowing that I got toddlers behind me, and I kept on studying and I'm still studying about family because I really love them, but I couldn't be the only one working anymore. And that's why I left. And then now one family member does come over a lot, which is my grandmother. But I have to prepare myself every time she comes to that door because she is definitely too much. But I noticed that she's adjusting herself. And I thank God for that adjustment because she doesn't realize and they don't realize the words that you say to somebody. Our brains are like computers. And you got to be gentle with the computer because if you're not, that computer is going to get hurt. It's going to break. And that's what happened. I was breaking. I was breaking hard because I always wanted to be noticed. But me being noticed was breaking me in levels where I was getting sick. And I'm glad that God showed me that I can do this. From the babysitting the babies, and He's bringing people in here, and I know why. He's bringing people to me at my house so that I won't feel that I'm alone. He's brought children here. He's brought random people here knocking at the door, bringing free stuff. I know that He was real yesterday when He brought that guy with 2 boxes of pizzas and 3 shirts, all for free. I started to be like, what is this? No, that's God's love and Him saying, He knocking through people and He knocking on the doors and He letting me know and He letting everybody else know that I love you. You get those suicidal thoughts out your head. You stop being something that you're not, and you don't make anybody love you because it's free. They should already want to love you no matter what. Because if they said that they cared about you and they really wanted to be in your life, they would be there. All relationships, sometimes we get into the relationship with the man. And we be doing so much for the man that God said in His words that is not how it's supposed to go. The man is supposed to be moved out of parent house and taking care of his responsibility. A lot of people, even women, we tend to allow people, man, whoever you're dating, use you. And then you try to sit there and make excuses about why they're using you. I know we don't want to admit it, but it's true. If you gotta pay for someone else all the time and they're not doing nothing much for you, they're using you. And that's not of God, because I know that from yesterday when I helped out that young lady and, babysit her kids, and she seemed to me to be so happy, so relieved. Her children were getting on my nerves, but she seemed so relieved. And then all of a sudden, me and those kids were in the house, and then I received a knock on the door with 2 pizzas and 3 free shirts. And I began to realize that God gives back for those who actually want to change, but also the more you give, the more you receive. Giving what not of you, don't give what you don't have. And I think a lot of people get this scripture wrong. I got to do this. No, you don't. Because if you don't even have nothing, why are you sitting over there trying to give somebody else something? That is not of God. That's of you. Because you're so nice and you're so kind and you want to take care of everybody else but yourself. And then you overworked yourself, then you on the ground crying because you don't work too hard. I'm talking about me because I was doing that. I was helping everybody and not getting nothing in return. But see, God will find a way to give you something in return. And He will show you that you will be all right. I mean, when I saw the babies, they made me feel so good. And little mamas was crying throughout the whole time. But the fact is that God made it known that you're not going to be sitting in this house by yourself. And there will be some source of income in your life. And I started to see that He wasn't lying. He loves us. He loves us. I was like, man, I ruined it when I left. But no, I gained. When I left the job, I went to college. And for 8 weeks. But then again, God looked at my determination that I started studying what I learned. And I wrote and I did all these topics and everything to the point where it went to just me not really doing what I was supposed to do to me plotting out my whole entire life. My sketch plan is almost done, so I'm going to use my little babysitting money that I received to go get another sketch plan book. So, God is definitely good. And I wanted to give the lady money back because she don't even have that many hours. But she was willing to pay me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I know that God will tell you, I'm willing to pay. If someone says, I'm willing to pay, that's of God. That's of God. Because God will definitely supply it. And I didn't have that much income at all because I only worked 2 days out of the week. And I made it that way until I really get my life together with my children and I expand to train them for their behavior. And I've been doing behavior class. I even was teaching her children. I was going all over this city, even the neighbors' kids, And I deserve that pizzas and those 3 shirts because I was working with those children. I love those kids, and I see myself teaching, not just my children, but others around me, teaching them about life, teaching the children about their behavior and helping out their parents. And it's a lot of things that I see myself doing. And, the behavior I want to be, I see myself in this huge position. I want to change. I want to help people's lives. I see these babies. They are our future. So I'm willing to study and study and study until I get my license, until I get this daycare center going for these children. And not just the children. I see young people. I mean, this was a young man knocking at my door, giving free pizza out. He sees the change too. He wants change too. Come and hug me. And I knew that it was God. Hugging somebody that you don't know. And a lot of people give me hugs. My managers give me hugs. A lot of people don't do the shake hand thing. They hug me. And I didn't used to like hugs. I didn't want no one to hug me. because I didn't want to be hugged because I felt not loved. But I am loved. And they understand that I really want an organization to where I can talk to these young people and let them know that their life matters. They got their friend crying about them all the time. I study my friends and see that they are, needing help. And all I did was move myself away from all of them. Why did I do that? Because I wanted them to see for themselves that they're loved. And I love them enough to kind of let them go because I can't boss them around. I can't train their minds. They have their mind made up on what they want. But I have a goal plan and I'm going to do this. This goal plan is to help people in their lives because their life matters to me. And it matters to God too. And He is love. God is love. And every time you see me in certain series of talking, you will definitely see me cry sometimes because it's real. The organization I built, Young Souls Organization We Care Center, I made it. And it's not here at all. I don't have no sheriff's card. I don't have no CPR card. I did have it, but then, it expired. I'm going to need all these cards. I'm going to need my driver license card. I'm going to need all that. And that's where finances come. So I've been writing down the organization and I see it here. So I'm like, I'm already just babysit and got paid. So I know. And then I started doing a behavior class with the kids, and they love the class. So when I started just training and I seen that this is something that I want to do, Young Souls Organization We Care Center, I want to do that. And not just that, I wanted to do Marquella the Light Speaker, because I want people to know that I care. Because I didn't have no one really to care as much, but God did. Because my whole entire life, during my sex transition, I saw things just randomly move. I didn't. It's like, how can you believe something that you never seen? But I saw Him move in my life. I saw Him move. And He can move for you too. I don't know. When my daddy died, I left. I left something. I just left. And I left faith. I left because my dad was the man of faith. And it's so crazy because the baby's mother, her name was Faith. And I thought it was I knew it was God because of this mother's name, Faith. And I said, Faith? Sounded like my dad because I call him the man of faith. Even when he went through, he never showed his emotions. But when I went to counseling, they said people who walk around happy all the time, those are the people who you need to be really worried about. And my dad never really showed it, but he was sick. He was going through a lot. And he's in a better place though. This story though that I told you guys was really just letting you guys know that God is love. And we're going to continue our journey together, about these stories. Because I know that this is good for me. It's good therapy as well, for me to video and do all those writings and keep moving forward. And I do see that people are visiting my blog page, so I'm thankful for that. That means that God is really sending angels and sending a lot of people around. And I believe that this will expand eventually. It will. Thank you for watching this. Because this is of God. You know, God is love. And it's so crazy because I never really wanted to burst out and tell it. But Marquella, the life speaker, I have to speak up on life. And I have to let people know that, look, I've been through something. And so stop looking at me. See, I still have this vision where I want to eventually get it out where it's half-faced, because it is a half-faced thing going on, like how my camera is. People, my family members, seen the darkness. Other people seen the perfect. It was so hard for me because they seen the darkness side of me, and other people seen the perfect girl. So I didn't know what. They saw some images, but I went to God and I said, God, what do you see? What do you see in me? And I'm telling you, God, He sees gorgeous things happening for you because you're wonderfully made. Don't let nobody use you. If you sitting around here and you're doing everything and this person is not doing their job, it's time to fire them, because you are a manager of your life and you don't deserve to be the only one working when you hired employees. That's just like I teach in my behavior class with my students that I have outside. And I teach my children out there, and I say, y'all better be helping y'all mama and them. Y'all start helping them, because it's true. You know, you should not have one person doing everything and then manage, because you can't train you can't control nobody's mind, but you can help them. You can help them get to where they need to go. And that's what I'm teaching in my class for my children, letting them know that, you know what, you guys are loved, you know, and you guys deserve nothing but love. And y'all not in trouble. And the reason why y'all get in trouble because y'all not obeying the rules. And help each other. Always help. You know, a lot of people don't want to help nobody, and they wonder why they struggling. Because all you care about is yourself. You gotta help. You see a problem and you don't help it, you wrong for that. You don't always have to give money. Because I know for me, for instance, I used to give out too much. I was that person that gave out too much. And it was killing and it was hurting my kids. So don't give out things that's going to hurt you. You give out what you can. And lately, the only thing that people got from me, and God is going to expand that, is my voice. Because you know what? If you can't do finance, I sure can't. And I ain't going to do it no more, because I realize it cost me. You know, people come to you like you a biggie bank. Yeah, a biggie bank. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, I am not a piggy bank. And, you know, you got to get them expense report on them. Because they will definitely come to you for money. You know? And you ain't got it. Because people will want you to do so many things, but then they won't help you when you need them the most. That's not the right team you own. You need help as well, and make sure that you have enough to get by first before you try to help somebody else. Because it will be costing you. Stop spending your money on unnecessary things. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it just came out about money. So I think that's probably God. I'm going to give this right now then before I forget. Don't let nobody use you and be paying for things that you don't need to be paying for. And you know that this is costing you and you're trying to save up for something. You save it up and you tell them that you can't do it and you hope that they can make it. You know, don't spend your money on unnecessary things. Don't do it, because then you will be hurting yourself and your family. I was one of those people when I had my income, I had increase, I had a lot. I would spend a lot on people more than I spent on my children. So don't be buying people off, because you will be paying for it in the long run. Continue to take care of yourself and don't be something that you're not. Stop. Just continue to take care of yourself. And we going to do this together. The journeys that we're going is going to be huge. Very huge. So every day you'll see a video of me. And I'm going to challenge myself, because sometimes people don't do that. But you have to start somewhere and then work yourself on up. You know what I'm saying? So I went from just writing everything out to now got a blog page out to now actually doing some videos. And that's huge, because this is good, because my laptop was just sitting there collecting dust. So now it's not going to collect dust. I'm going to be able to use the laptop and video the wordings each day on different topics, and eventually it will expand to where somebody hear a message, it will definitely help them. And this is good for me, because I really speak. I could speak all day long if I wanted to. So we will definitely get on the journey tomorrow, and we'll see you from there. See you back tomorrow. Thank you for listening. And remember, you stop letting people use you, because you deserve so much more. So when we hit this journey together, we're going to be going higher and higher to where you cannot be allowing people to use you. And that's where these videos are going to come from, on that blog, to where you will see it. And then you might really see a little bit writing too on there too. But you know, I don't got no dots or commas, so that's why this video thing for my blog is good too. But thank you for joining this page, and we're going to continue to work forth each day on different stories and different topics that I'm doing, and we're going to learn together so that we can grow. Thank you, and have a very great day.